Hello, my name is Eric, and this is an NES that I got from a friend of mine a few months ago. And the problem with it was that anytime I would try to play a game, the power indicator would be flashing forever. Now, because I never owned an NES before, I didn't really know why that was, so I went on Google to do a quick search, and apparently that happens because the console can't read the cartridge, which is a very common issue with it. So in this video, we're gonna go through the process of how I disassembled it and how I fixed the issue. So let's go. Let's just do it. Let's go.
コマの操作でゲートを開閉、ロボットと共同作業を楽しむジャイロ、ロボット用カセット、ブロックとジャイロ。
As I mentioned in the intro, the issue with this NES was that whenever I tried to play a game, the power light would be flashing forever. That is a very common issue with this console due to the way it was designed. This is not news for anyone who knows the history of the NES, but you see, in Nintendo's mind, in order to make it appealing for Western customers, especially Americans, the console had to look like a VCR and be something that you'd see in a living room at the time, especially after the video game crash. So they designed this weird mechanism in which you press the cartridge down after inserting it. I can't really judge their decision though, because the NES was a huge success after all. Pressing the cartridge down for 30 years, however, causes the pins that connect to it to bend over time, and that's exactly the problem with this unit. Luckily, it isn't a difficult fix, as you'll see later on. So let's open this thing. We're going to start by removing these 6 screws. After that, the bottom comes right off. After putting these parts away, the next step is to remove this RF shield, which requires unscrewing these 7 other screws. This is the slot which the cartridge connects to, the part that was causing the issue. Let's take the screws away, and now we're gonna remove the cartridge tray. It needs a bit of wiggling around to get it off, and these last 2 screws release the motherboard from the case. Now we just need to disconnect these wires, and as you can see here, the motherboard itself is in pretty good shape. It was only a little bit dirty, so I decided to give it a basic clean to remove the dust and some grease that might be stuck to it. At that point, I was hoping that would be enough to get the console working again. Here I used a toothbrush to remove most of the dust and cotton buds with alcohol to give it a further clean. My contact with the NES as a kid was very brief. I just played it a couple of times, and the reason for that was that most of the people I knew and I owned only Sega consoles. Because of that, I don't have much nostalgia towards it. I mostly appreciate it for its historical significance. Before getting this unit though, aside from emulation, I had the opportunity to experience it more through the NES Classic Mini, and for a period of 6 months I played Dr. Mario almost every day. I gotta say, that shit's more addictive than Candy Crush.
Hey Eric, you reckon you can help me with the... Are you playing Dr. Mario again?
Go away! Now with a clean motherboard and contacts, I was hoping that was enough to get the console working again, which would have been great because I would have been able to have it with all of its original parts. So I reconnected the power button, controller ports and stuff. Connected the power supply. And before inserting the cartridge, I just gave it a quick clean to make sure it was okay. But sadly, as you can see here, the problem persisted. To actually fix the issue, I got this new cartridge slot from eBay for around 20 bucks. And by this point, I was hoping that was that because I didn't want to dig deeper into the console to find out what the issue was. So let's do the test again with a new slot, and as you can see here, the power LED is not flashing anymore, which means that the console can read the cartridge again. With all of that, let's just remove the motherboard again, just so we can give the case and the bottom RF shields a basic clean. And now it's time to start reassembling it. This part is the easiest, it's just the reverse of what we did before. Screw the motherboard back in. Now we gotta reattach the cartridge tray. We just need to be careful with these two screws because they're different sizes. Let's put the RF shield back, screw it back in place. And to finish it off, let's put the top of the case back and screw it back in place. Now put this little cover back. Do a little cleaning with some alcohol. And boom! It's still working! Now, one funny thing that happened was that when I first connected the NES back to the TV, I was having this weird artifact on the screen. Initially I thought it was because of the connection, but actually that was happening because the screws were too tight. After loosening them up a bit, everything was good.
ファミリーコンピュータの楽しいカセット情報
And here are some games running on the NES. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll make more stuff like this in the future, so if you did enjoy it, make sure to subscribe if you'd like to get notified when more of this comes out. Thanks for watching.